Nashville, and welcome to Business as Usual. My name is Bailey. I'm the adult librarian at the Donaldson branch.
And I'm Corey. I'm the manager at the Goodlettsville branch.
And we are here with Wisty Pender with Bureau Directors, the Tennessee Business Enterprise Resource Office. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. So I'm going to start us off. Wisty, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I actually am a Nashville resident. Even though I cover the whole state with the Bureau office, I am based here and travel out when I do travel out.
It's a one-man job here in Nashville for the state?
I have a colleague, Lamont Price, who I work with, and then another colleague who we work on Fund Tennessee together.
Okay,
so
cool.
We'll talk more about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know what else to tell you.
That's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So would you explain what Bureau is and how it was established?
Sure. So Bureau, or the Business Enterprise Resource Office, as you mentioned, was actually established. It's created by statute, so it's in Tennessee law, and was created in 1977. So as you can imagine, some things have changed since then.
Sure.
But its Bureau is housed within the Department of Economic and Community Development, which is a state agency, which is also a great place to be housed because we deal with the smallest businesses to the largest ones that come into our state. So.
Yeah. So all over the board.
All over the board, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole range. Plus we do community development too, so.
Yeah. Cool. What type of resources does Bureau offer to small businesses, owners, and entrepreneurs?
So Bureau has several different things it does. So there's the side of it that really works with communities, and then there's the things that are available directly to businesses.
Sure.
So tnsmartstart.com. So TN Smart Start, or the Smart Start Guide, is one of those things that is designed to help businesses just figure out what they need to do next. So how to register a business in the state of Tennessee. If you have ever done it, it is not an intuitive process.
Oh,
Yep.
And so getting people the steps of how you register a business and where to go. So it does that piece of it. It connects businesses with resources and things that they can, if it's entities like different organizations or what we call entrepreneur support organizations, which is who you all have been
Sure.
talking to.
Yep.
Or different resources to help them figure out whatever part of the business that they're trying to figure out. So it's a really handy guide. We actually just soft launched the new platform, so I'm
Very
super
cool.
excited about that. Yep. We had the original interactive guide launched in 2017, so it was time for a big change.
Sure.
And it started as, a small print version, and, it's always fun to
Yep.
run into people who started with the Smart Start Guide, and they've talked to all the different resources, and you find out that they used your resource
That's cool.
to
Yeah.
start. Yeah, it's really neat.
Makes it worth it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So then there's the Bureau website, which has great resources, all different things, So if you want to know about certifications or procurement or, again, registration or where to find things as a business owner just to help you get started, it's a good resource or tool for that.
I know I've turned several people on to the Bureau website
Great.
for different
thank you.
resources. So, yeah, and I was telling Bailey earlier that whenever we started NPO Means Business, that Bureau, I've sort of had, you've sort of been my goal to get into contact with and get you on
Well,
this
nice.
podcast especially because I found it very helpful, the Smart Start Guide and the website in general. So,
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Another program is Fund Tennessee, which is an access to capital program for small businesses and entrepreneurs. We have been running it since 2023 is when we started. It was a very long process, but it's a federally funded program, which, depending on if you're doing investment or equity, you may or may not ever know. But access to capital, and then under the Fund Tennessee umbrella is Lend TN, which is the debt arm, Invest TN, which is the equity arm, and Assist TN, which is the technical assistance arm. And so we partner with Launch Tennessee to do the Invest TN piece, which is the equity. And then we've partnered with MTSU's lead. It's the lead center for the Tennessee Small Business Development Center Network. They just happen to be at MTSU. And so that is who works with us on the technical assistance piece. So that's our other kind of big available to the public. On the lending side, we run the lending side, but we do it through lenders. So we have 5 lenders that lend across the state. The most common ones for this area are probably going to be Pathway Lending, potentially Communities Unlimited. Kind of depends if you're in the Nashville MSA or if you're in Nashville specifically. Sure. So there are lenders for that program. Pathway Lending, they lend, they have many programs and have several things they've done with Nashville too. So.
Absolutely. What other programs and initiatives are available with Bureau?
So a lot of times we also work on kind of the community side, or the side where we work with the entities that work with the businesses. So we just segued a program into our 3-star program that was called Placemakers. So that's undergoing a change. So 3-star is its own kind of economic preparedness program that the state runs. And so in the past, under Placemakers, we have funded things that are like training, business, whether it's business plan, but it's small business entrepreneurship training, somebody who wanted to maybe build out a co-work space or a maker space. Or so we have funded those kinds of projects. That money does not go directly, super important, that money does not go directly to businesses.
Sure.
That goes to different entities that we've worked with too, so they can provide the services or training to the people that they work with.
Very cool.
Very cool, yeah. If I was looking to start a new business, how would I use the Tennessee Smart Start Guide?
So I would, if I were in your shoes, I'd go to tnsmartstart.com and get yourself familiar with, what it is you don't know. So like I mentioned, starting a business, regardless of the size of your business, is not very intuitive. And so getting that checklist of how to start a business helps, but then figure out what resources. So, it depends what kind of business you're starting. Nashville has a really great landscape of support organizations, and part of it depends on what you're working towards. Sure. And then also, what fits with your schedule. So it could be, SCORE, which is connected to the SBA. They do training. Small Business Development Center. It could be somebody like Corner to Corner, or I feel like I'll leave somebody out and offend them because there's so many. But the part of it is, like Conexión Americas. They've got if you have a food truck, like Conexión Americas is a great place to get that training. Or if you're a Spanish speaker, that's another place. Or Arts and Business Council, I mentioned them. So you have lots of options. And so the one thing I would caution you against is it's also very easy to get overwhelmed.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's very easy. So if you have done your plan, great. If you haven't, I think it also gives you some resources to start, maybe gives you a map. There's a thing called a business model canvas, which is a quick way to kind of get your ideas out. And what that does is that tells you what you want to do, but it also tells you what you don't know you want to do. And sometimes that's the piece that guides you to who do I need to talk to next.
Sure.
So that's one way. I think that's one big use of it. I mentioned that we're in our soft launch phase, and so one thing I'm excited about this platform now is that you create a profile and you can bookmark things. So you can always come back to it if there's something that piques your interest. You can say, hey, I want that for later, so you bookmark it, and then it will be there when you get back.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
Makes it really, really useful for people to engage.
Oh, cool. So we ask this question of everybody who comes in here. Okay, so buckle in. What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone starting out as an entrepreneur or small business owner? One or
Just
more pieces.
One?
Of advice.
I was like, that's so hard.
One or more pieces.
I think you saw my my deer in headlights look there. I was like, one? That's so hard. Please don't spend a lot of time looking for grants.
Okay.
Yes.
There are resources that have grants. A lot of people they spend a lot of time. they spend a lot of money for things that are already free to you, like free to them to use. I've seen it multiple times where somebody's paid X amount of dollars, and what they got connected to were resources that were really available for them.
Yeah.
And so I always hate to see that. The caveat to that is there are some resources out there that are great. And if, grants are funny, they're super qualified.
Yeah.
It can be Hello Alice is another online resource. And so they've been good about collecting private grants. And so they can be a really good place to look. But I would really caution people to spend a lot of time looking for grants. Like, I know you're going to have to fund it, and funding is an important piece to it, which is probably my second piece, is that you're going to have to figure out how to fund it. And there are lots of people to help you figure out how much it's really going to cost and what that is. And figuring that piece out, it makes a big difference. So making sure, you've got your estimates right, and there are people to help with that. But underfunded businesses have challenges.
Sure.
And you also don't want to go out and, do a HELOC on your house to fund a business, or go out and rent a building before you know what your business is. Because that's another thing we see a lot is, somebody, I rented. Well, your commercial rent spaces, they have different rules. So you might be the one responsible for the HVAC in your space, or things like that. And people don't necessarily know that. So I would say use the resources, but don't get overwhelmed. Like, try to work with the resources, start in one place. And then, of course, if for whatever reason that resource isn't a good fit for you, there are other ones. Don't get discouraged.
Sure. Yeah.
But also be willing to hear hard stuff.
Well, not every conversation in business is going to be easy.
No.
So.
No. And then my last one, one more. If
Sure.
you go into a partnership, have partnership agreements. It's like a marriage, and you got to know what the rules are.
Yeah.
A partnership, and I don't care if you're husband and wife, like, it really helps to have, like, here's what each party brings to the table. And if for whatever reason somebody needs to get out of that partnership, here's how they get out of that partnership. So it's very important.
I can imagine some of the hard conversations that friends have had over probably businesses splitting up and stuff. So.
Oh, hard. Yeah. I mean, hard conversations are just, irreparable relationships.
Yeah.
That started out great. But
So what are some best ways to get in touch with Bureau?
Online.
Yeah, you mentioned a website.
Yeah, the website's the best way. As an individual, I work across the entire state of Tennessee. So, a lot of one-on-one conversations is not typically the route that works best for Bureau in general. Sometimes we do, we might work with GoDBE, which is the procurement certification arm of state government. So, if somebody says, hey, I want to do business with the state, then they need to go through a registration process. I would do presentations with them and give people lots of resources, or different trainings.
Sure.
Fund Tennessee, we've done a fair number of, finding your funding kind of sessions where people can hear from different providers to find out, what makes sense for them and where to start. So I would say that's the best route. I'm going to keep with TN Smart Start or the Bureau website, which is housed. So if you type in Bureau and you type in TNECD, you'll find it. It'll work.
Easy enough.
Easy enough.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I could add tons of things, so I don't know.
It's up to you.
Well, like I said at the beginning, there's a lot of great resources in Nashville. I mentioned Launch Tennessee. They are one of our public-private partners, and they do that kind of innovation tech side. So if it's commercialization, that area. So there's lots of resources. So part of it is figuring out where you are with your business. What are you trying to do? Yep. And then get connected with resources. There's all kinds of programming. So if you want to do, a 9-week course where you meet once a week and you figure out all the parts of your business and you're kind of in a cohort setup, there's that. The Nashville Entrepreneur Center through Launch Tennessee. They're one of our regional entrepreneur centers. We have 8 of them in the state. One thing that's really interesting about them is that they're connected to all the other ones.
Yeah.
And so if you start a business in Nashville, but maybe Memphis has the specialty area or Cookeville has the specialty area, they can connect that person with the right resource. It's really all about the right resource at the right time.
Sure.
Just like the right capital at the right time makes all the difference. So part of it is, seeing what's out there, being open to what people are telling you. There's an element of being coachable as a business that helps you take the best advantage of the resources that are out there. And then, sometimes you're just not going to get along with somebody. They just don't see your vision. You don't sync with them for some reason. And that's okay. Don't take it personally. There's some other resources out there to help you. So I would say those are big things that we see with businesses a lot. And we talk to all kinds of them. So, the whole spectrum of businesses. Yes, I've done an inordinate amount of research, and the information that I've gathered in that process that, who knew there's nicotine in tomatoes? Like, how would I know that?
I didn't know that. That's news to me.
You find out the most interesting things.
You've heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. And at the same time, it's like I love working with businesses. I've had 2 businesses myself. So there are things I really understand, the struggles. And I grew up with parents who had their own businesses and lots of family members. And so there's a piece of understanding the challenges that businesses go through that helps when you're working in the ecosystem to fill gaps and connect people.
Sure.
So
very awesome. Very awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Sure.
Yeah,
we really
thank you for
appreciate
having me.
Yeah,
Really
thank you for
appreciate
coming
it.
on. Again, my name is Bailey. I'm with the Donaldson Branch Library, and I'm with
Corey from the Goodlettsville branch.
Wisty. Thank you again for coming on. Nashville, this has been business as usual. Thanks for listening.